Hi guys, well it's time for my second video. Today I want to show you the hats and t-shirts that I had done here locally, and trying to brand myself and give you a couple business lessons along the way of my experience with this. My overwhelming experience or thoughts after posting my first video is, wow, am I old and fat and ugly. But the good thing is, if this fat, ugly old man can make it in this business, anybody can. So if I can make this work, you certainly should be encouraged that you can. But anyway, I'm wearing, I got white hats and black hats and all white shirts. I'm wearing white t-shirt today. I think you can see my logo there. And I'm wearing one of the black hats. There's the black hat right there with my logo. I'm a little disappointed in the black hat. The logo just doesn't pop that well, and I was suspicious of that when I ordered them. I think if I order black hats in the future, I am just going to do the embroidery in just all white on my logo. I mean, it's different than my logo colors, but it really doesn't matter. I mean, it's you know, the purpose is to get people to see your name, and I put my .com on there on purpose, not just my name. I don't have a phone number on the hat. I really don't want people calling me. I mean, I know they are, but there's a couple of reasons for that. I'd rather drive them to the website, and I hate talking on the phone. I hate cell phones, and it's from a reception point of view, and I'm getting old, and a hearing point of view. So you're not going to see me advertising my phone number on my shirts and my hats. I'm just going to be advertising my website. Here's the white hat. I think you can see the logo pops quite a bit more on that, and I'm real pleased with the white hats. And these are some nice, I don't know if I can hold it up right, some nice polo shirts that I bought. Just, you know, if I'm out giving a quote or talking to a business or something. I guess from this angle, the logo looks crooked, but I assure you it's not. Pretty quality polo shirt, not overly expensive, pretty comfortable. T-shirts I'm happy with, you know, but from this point on, I will always have one of my hats on in either a t-shirt or a polo shirt. Here's a business lesson I want you guys to learn. I'll tell you what happened with this particular order, and give you a story from when I was quite a bit younger to emphasize the same point. Anyway, for my first order, I don't have a problem ordering these things online, but for my first order, I wanted to do them here locally so I could kind of get a feel for it, and maybe have a little bit of a quality control. I actually wanted to be able to try the shirts on to make sure they fit me, you know, versus ordering online and coming in and being disappointed because they, more than likely with me, they'd be too small. I guess too big is a possibility, but not very often. So anyway, you know, like everybody else, I did a Google search, found a couple shops here locally. I'm in the Indianapolis area, and you know, the selection wasn't great, but anyway, I found a couple shops, and so I go into the first shop, and they open. This was my first indication that it wasn't going to go very well. Their posted hours were 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and I think 9 till 1 or 2 on Saturday. It doesn't matter. I was over there on a weekday, and I got there around 9:15, maybe 9:20, around there, and guess what? They weren't open. And I thought, shit, you know, I mean, that just pisses me off. But I waited about 10 minutes there, and yeah, sure enough, somebody came and opened up the doors, lights came on, and so I went inside and explained to the person what I was looking for. I said, hey, I'm looking for hats, I'm looking for t-shirts, I'm looking for some polo shirts, might even be interested in having a hoodie embroidered. You know, I'm in Indianapolis, it's cold. I wear shorts all year round, but I do put a hoodie on when it gets cold out, and so started talking to this woman, and you know, she was giving me information I needed. They had a pretty decent selection of hats. I was trying some different hats, And I said, hey, look, I don't want to spend a lot of money on this. I mean, I don't want to be cheap, but it doesn't need to be, the best hat in the world. The purpose of it is it's comfortable on my head and it shows off my logo. So she showed me some things. I said, well, tell me about quantities. Tell me the difference between embroidery and screen printing, which I already knew. And so my hats are embroidered and my shirts are screen printed. And so she pulled out this notepad. And she started writing down, made a grid and started writing down quantities, 1 to 5 is this much for all the different products. And I'm standing there watching her. Now, mind you, I'm here. I'm ready to place an order. I want to buy. And she writes all this stuff down, and she rips it off the notepad, and she goes, here. She goes, you can take this with you, and, when you decide, you can bring it back in. It'll refresh my memory what we talked about, and we can go from there. And again, I already had a bad taste in my mouth, so I thanked her and walked out of the store with a piece of paper, drove to my second choice from my Google search, and they were 15 minutes away or so, and they were open, wide open. I went in, kind of went through the same process. The girl said, hey, when are you looking to order? We're kind of slow this time of year, so I can turn it around real quick. All these, things that I like to hear. She was asking me for my order. Within 15, 20 minutes, I'd spent $600 because she asked me to. So that's a lesson here is you're never going to get a sale if you don't ask for the business. It is a terrible mistake in business when you are trying to sell something. I don't care if it's t-shirts or lawn care or, Boeing 747s. You've got to ask somebody for their business. Now, you have to do it properly. You have to do it at the right time. You do it professionally. You don't be pushy. There's timing for everything. As I stated in my last video, when I got out of college, I went into the car business. The car business was different than it is now, but it was, really high pressured, and, we were taught every other word out of our mouth is, what do I have to do to get you to buy this today? Well, when I started running dealerships, that's not how I taught my salesmen, and I don't believe in that philosophy. But the lesson to be learned here is when you're interacting with a customer or a potential customer, ask them for their business. Always be closing. It's very rare that somebody's made the decision. It happens. Sometimes I walk into some place, I've already made my decision, and they're just clerking the sale. They don't have to sell me anything. They're just clerking it. I'm sure it happens in lawn care too, but I think the overwhelming business transactions in the world, you have to ask for their business. Now, here's the quick story, and so the underlying lesson of that is really the old ABC: always be closing. You have to do it in a savvy manner, you have to do it professionally, but you always have to be closing. So back, I think I was 23, I might have been 24, this was back in 1984, 1985. I got in the car business. I sold cars for a very short period of time, 3 or 4 months, then was moved into the finance office, spent, 7 or 8 months in the finance office by myself, and then was promoted to finance director. So I was in charge of the finance departments over 6 dealerships at the time. And, it's a high pressure, it's a young person's business. The hours were, I worked 9 a.m. till, if I was lucky, I got out at 10 p.m. at night, Monday through Friday, and Saturdays, we started at 9 a.m. and even on Saturdays, we might not get out of there till 9, 10 o'clock at night. Saturdays were the big day back in that time. And so after a couple of years of this, I was pretty burnt out. I'm not a vacation guy. I hadn't taken a vacation. So I walked into the owner's office one day and said, hey, look, I want to take a week off. Do you have a problem with that? He said, absolutely not. He said, when are you looking to go? And I said, well, next week. I'd like to have next week off. This is Wednesday, literally Wednesday. He said, no problem. I said, great. So I started thinking, well, what do I want to do? I want to go somewhere. I'm a young guy, single guy, making great money. Just never have any time to spend it anywhere. I thought, I've heard good things about cruises, so let me think about a cruise here. So this was back in the time where there were travel agencies all over the place. You don't see them anymore, but they were all over the place, and so the dealership where my office was next door to a mall that had a travel agent in it. So I went into the travel agency, met a young girl, was pretty much my age, early 20s, and she said, "What are you looking to do?" I said, "Well, I was thinking about a cruise, but I'm single. I don't want to get on a cruise with a bunch of married people with kids. Do they have such things as single cruises?" And she said, "Yeah, sure enough." She goes, "Carnival Cruise Lines has single cruises." I said, "Oh, great." I said, when does this take place?" She goes, "Well, when are you looking to go?" I said, "Sunday, this weekend. I have to work Saturday, but I'm off from Sunday till the following Monday. I don't have to be back." And she goes, "Sunday, like 4 days from now?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "All right, well, let me find out." And this was, computers, desktops weren't really out, so I don't know what travel agents did at that time, but she did her thing, and she came back to me and she said, "Hey, Carnival Cruise Lines has a singles cruise leaving out of LA on Sunday." Gave me the details, what time the cruise leaves, all this, and there's one cabin left. Oh, great. How much is it? And so she did whatever she did. And I think with airfare, it was a couple of grand. It wasn't cheap. It was a couple of grand with airfare, but everything was included and all that. And okay, great. And she said, she wrote down all this information and gave it all to me. And I said, "Okay, well, thank you." And I took her piece of paper and walked out the door. Never once did she ask me, "Do you want to book it?" Now, mind you, I told her, this is Wednesday. I want to leave on Sunday. I mean, how many more clues can I give you, lady? She never once asked me for my business. I left that travel agency, drove up the street to the next travel agency, walked in, was greeted by the agent. Now, this agent only had to clerk the sale. I gave the agent all the information. "Hey, this cruise is leaving Sunday out of LA. There's only one cabin left from my understanding, and I want to go on it." And within 10, 15 minutes, I'd forked over the money. I was booked, and I left on my cruise that Sunday. It's the only cruise I've ever been on in my life. Some of you may be cruise lovers. First of all, it was a singles cruise, quote unquote. It was about 1,500 guys to every girl, and as ugly as I am, those aren't good odds for me. And I was bored out of my mind. I mean, this was tough. You had to wear a suit and tie to dinner and all that garbage, and I was on vacation. I didn't want to have to wear a suit and tie. I found a way around it. You can order room service and all this shit. But after a couple of days, I'd done everything I wanted to do on the boat. And I'm not a sunbather. That didn't interest me. So I pretty much ended up in the casino the rest of the week. And I think I lost $3 or $4 grand in those few days. So that was the last cruise for me. It wasn't for me. It's not my thing. Anyway, thanks for watching. Remember, always be closing. Always ask for the business. They expect you to ask for the business.